Welcome again, everyone, to an exciting new Formula One season on this final day of 2027 pre-season testing. I'm Alex Jakes, alongside the legendary Martin Brundle, here to bring you the final day of coverage packed with team liveries and the big reveal of this year's driver lineups.
It's definitely a big year for the teams, with new ones joining as others step away from the sport. This shift is also influencing driver transfers, especially since we didn't see many changes during the off-season, which we'll dive into shortly.
Before passing things over to our F1 TV team in Silverstone, we want to recap the season calendar, which was released later in the 2026 season and features some exciting changes. We're sticking with the 16-race format, but this time we're including races in the Middle East and adding Spa as the third sprint race weekend of the year.
I feel like that third sprint of the season will really shake up the standings. We saw how things shifted leading up to the final race, even with Konnersport leaping ahead at the start of the season.
And of course, speaking of Konnersport, we have Laura Winter on standby with Konnersport's new CEO and team principal, Kasper Ackerman. How are things going over there, Laura?
Things have been great here at the Konnersport HQ. We just had a sort of tour, getting a glimpse of what the team is working on behind the scenes. Details we can't share until after the season starts. As we know, Konnersport has been penalised by the FIA for overspending on their cost cap for upgrades during the 2026 season. Right now, we're in one of the main testing rooms for the Konnersport car, which is sporting the same livery as last season. And yes, I do have Kasper Ackerman here with me in your new role as CEO and team principal. Can you please share how this came to be through the off-season?
It was a pretty smooth and straightforward transition. After the season wrapped up in Abu Dhabi, the board met and everything was settled without fuss. Devon stepped down as team owner. As we all knew, he'd been carrying a heavy load since his father's passing. The team felt he needed a break, and he agreed it was the right choice for everyone.
Speaking of the team's changes, we won't be seeing them on track for testing since it's the final day, but how have they been performing in the simulations? And of course, there's the big question about the driver lineup for the new season.
Well, I'm happy to say that we've kept George on the team for another year, and we've also signed Lando Norris for this season. Both have been putting in a lot of work on the simulators, knowing we have plenty to catch up on before we get to Australia.
Given that they were title rivals last season, is there still a heated rivalry between them coming into the new season? And I'm sure the team must have felt some hardship when they found out Jackson was no longer racing for them.
The rivalry between them remains, but it has evolved to focus more on testing for the benefit of the team rather than competing against each other over last season's results. The team hopes to channel this competitive spirit to stay in contention this season. Regarding Jackson, his departure deeply affected the team. As one of the first drivers alongside Devon, he serves as a reminder of how far the team has progressed in the sport and the importance of maintaining momentum regardless of who is behind the wheel.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Kasper, and we can't wait to see the team in Australia for the season opener as we head on back to Bahrain for the rest of pre-season testing.
All right, thank you for that look at Konnersport's doings for pre-season, Laura, as we're here in the pit lane, seeing that some of the teams are getting ready to head out for the afternoon session. We have Ted Kravitz and James Hinchcliffe down in the pit lane going from each team's pit boxes for trackside interviews.
Thank you, Alex, and we're kicking things off down the order at Audi Revolut. I'm here on the pit wall with Jonathan Wheatley, who took over the role after last season. So how does it feel to be in the captain's chair steering this ship while everyone else is speeding past like caffeinated rocket ships?
I mean, it's not so much that they're speeding past. With the data that we've gathered throughout testing, we do seem very hopeful to be a big midfield contender. And as for my new role, it feels like any other position, just having to do a lot more talking than I'm used to.
That's exciting to hear. And we also have the data to back up the claim of being a potential midfield threat. What's the lineup for the season? Who will be behind the wheel for what's shaping up to be an exciting year in Formula One?
Well, the team has decided to sign Pepe Marti for another season and is also scouting F2 for talent, bringing in Jack O'Sullivan for our 2027 lineup. With the car in a stable position, I think these young drivers can take advantage of that to deliver some strong performances this year.
That is a particularly intriguing and youthful lineup from you, Jonathan, and there is great anticipation to observe their performance in Australia. James, you are now set to introduce our next team, Porsche Williams.
Thank you, Alex, and I'm down here with, surprisingly, James Vowles. They decided to keep you on the team post-transition into the 2027 season. It's great to still see you leading a team that's gone through so much change recently. How are you feeling with where the team's at so far?
I feel very confident in the team. The transition in branding and ownership went smoothly, and most of the staff is the same as last year. It's like picking up a new toy after setting down the old one. The car seems to be performing well. From what we've seen on track and in our simulations, we appear to still be in the top 5, or at the very least, a strong midfield contender.
And going off of team changes, were there any changes to your driver lineup for this season?
No, we went ahead and signed both Albon and Hajar for another season. The team was pleased with their early efforts last year, and we felt we could push for more with the same drivers again this year, as that's the ideal goal.
From testing, we've seen both Albon and Hajar post some really competitive times. I'm confident we'll see them back on the podium and maybe even securing some race wins for the newly branded Porsche Williams. Ted, are you ready down there with the next team?
Oh, yeah. I was just admiring the use of the shade of blue on that car. Maserati, one of the other new teams on the block, is here with team principal David A. Brivio. You came into the sport from MotoGP. How has that transition been for you, friend?
The transition could have been better. I'm not too fond of the Formula Series, but with a great team behind the car, I've been able to get situated quite well here with Maserati F1 team.
Maserati officially replaced Ford Racing Bulls after the FIA banned sister teams from competing on the grid, meaning the team essentially had to start from scratch. How has the team managed to make progress during the off-season despite such a handicap?
We weren't the only team with that handicap, but credit goes to our analysts and researchers working on the car back at our factory. Having access to years of data for this era of car has helped us stay a bit competitive against the newer teams.
How are you feeling with the lineup the team has chosen for the season?
That the team, like a few others, have decided to keep their lineup. We believe that with Lawson and Aaron, we can make some good progress on the season because they know how the car was going to handle compared to the Racing Bull from last year.
The team's testing times didn't look so great, mostly midfield result from the team. I'm not trying to put any worry out there for the season opener, but is that intentional from the team?
Yes, the team has been working on long stint runs, and we will push the car more when it comes to the first practice sessions of the season.
Well, I wanted to thank you for your time, Davide, and welcome to the sport of Formula One. Can't wait to see what Maserati can do on its debut. James, back over to you.
All right, just in time actually, as I had to make my way down to the Toyota pit box. Ayao Komatsu, team principal of the newly branded Toyota Gazoo Racing F1 team. How's the team feeling with the transition from last year?
The team feels confident in the work put in during the off-season. The rebranding from Haas to Toyota was a planned move that didn't really impact the team, so there was no concern about the change heading into this season.
Seems like there has been some talk about the team's progress. Times are showing midfield, but the team hasn't been pushing that much due to it just being preseason, correct?
That is correct, that the team hasn't been pushing that much, but we do intend on doing so before the end of the day, and we do feel like the car can handle that kind of stress before the last session of the day.
Well, we hope to see how far up the order the team can get the car with so little time left today. How's the team feeling about the driver lineup for this season?
We went ahead and kept our driver lineup the same from last season. They know the car. Their input from out on track is greatly appreciated and has been able to allow the team to build the cars around them to help us stay in the midfield.
Greatly appreciated of you to take some time before the end of preseason testing, Ayao. We hope to see that car be competitive out there this season. Ted, back over to you.
All right then, James, you were right about making it to the next team in time for this. I almost had to break into a jog to reach the Lotus pit box, and to my surprise, I see Christian Horner sitting in the team principal's seat. Christian, how was your off-season leading up to joining Lotus?
It was just another off-season in the world of Formula One. There's never really any time for relaxation because you're finishing things from the previous year, and preparations for the next year are already at full throttle because teams want to get the the most out of their cars during testing.
Well, Christian, the grid is looking very competitive so far this pre-season testing. And with you at the helm of Lotus's return, I don't doubt that you will work up some magic. Is there any possibility that we may see that Lotus up in the top 3 at all this season?
With the work that we have planned out for the car this season, I do feel confident that we will be making up some ground. The idea is to have the team ready to be a podium contender by the end of the season.
All right, Christian, the lap times are looking competitive. Who do we have racing for Lotus this season?
The team went with Franco Colapinto and Nico Hulkenberg. As we all know, a great mix of youth and experience can push a team up the order, both on paper and out on track, and I have full confidence in our drivers this season.
Well, Christian, it seems like Lotus is in good hands as it makes its return to the grid here in 2027. Thank you for your time. Back to you, James.
All right, next team down the pit lane is that of Aston Martin Honda, and to our surprise, no change to team branding, but I'm here next to Adrian Newey, 2027 team principal of Aston Martin Honda. How's testing been going for the team?
Testing has been on track for our team this week. We have been working hard since the end of last season, with each department gathering as much data as possible. Our times reflect a genuine and consistent pace, as our primary focus has been on the car's longevity. In the first few days, we pushed the cars hard and set those results as a benchmark to improve upon. Using that information, we've been able to resolve any minor issues that arose so far this week.
And, of course, the driver lineup for this season, apparently there was a leak about the drivers for Aston Martin this morning, and I'm sure there's no surprise there.
Yes, Aston Martin is sticking true with the Stroll Alonso lineup. They've been of great value to the team and have been very loyal to the project.
Well, with the true long stint pace of the car, the team looks very competitive. Can't wait to see what they can do in Australia. Back to you again, Ted.
All right, then we're down at the last team before the end of the afternoon session. Then we will hit the rest of the teams for the evening session later today. I'm here at Ferrari. Fred Vasseur, yet again, team principal for hopefully another competitive season. How's the team doing so far this week?
The team has been doing great work in preparation for the season. We had some minor issues with the engine earlier in the morning session, but with the data available, we've been able to get the car back out on track to run more data collection.
The car is looking fast out on track. You've been having the car up at the top of the timing charts for most of the testing sessions. A lot of people seem that it may be true pace being shown. Any word on that?
We have ran a lot of qualifying simulations, and that's where a lot of the times you are seeing are coming from. But that doesn't mean it's the car's true pace. Our drivers are still trying to adjust to how different the car feels compared to last season.
With the fast pace being shown on track, it is recognizable that it's Leclerc in one of the seats of the car. Everyone calling him the golden child of Ferrari. Who is he paired with this season?
Here is no doubt that we kept our lineup the same from last season. The pace that Bortoleto showed the team in the last few races proved that it was a good call to sign him with the team again.
The team looks very competitive, and we hope to see Bortoleto in the top 10, or maybe even on that podium a lot more this season. That's going to wrap it up for the afternoon session of the final day of testing. We will be right back. All right, the final session of pre-season testing before the 2027 season is underway, and we only have 3 more teams to visit. Sitting here currently with Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff, a very challenging end of season fight against Ferrari. How did the off-season treat the team?
The team was able to transition like any other. Yes, the championship last year didn't end how we planned, but we still had to move on with our work for this season. And our times throughout the week have been able to prove that we are ready to fight for that championship at the start of the season. We had a statement earlier this afternoon from Antonelli. He was asked about the championship deciding incident from the last race of last year. Has he been able to recover from that incident, as well as Cali Meyer being seen around the paddock? Pretty much confirms your lineup for this year, right? yes, we are keeping our lineup from last season. They are a young but fierce set of drivers that Mercedes has been grateful to have racing for us. And yes, Antonelli has had his moments with that incident, but he's been able to put it in the past and focus on things during testing for this season.
Having such a young lineup in a powerful car such as Mercedes has to be a lot of pressure, especially with how well they performed towards the end of the season. Is there anything we should watch out for during this season? Any tricks you might have up your sleeve?
No, no tricks at all, at least for the start of the season.
Alrighty then, thank you for the input, Toto, and we can't wait to see that silver arrow of yours fighting for the championship. Now we're off to James with Red Bull Ford.
That is right. Red Bull Ford, same shade of blue, same Ford engine, but not only a new lineup, a new team principal. Laurent Mekies is here with me at the Red Bull pit box, promoted after Christian took his role in Lotus. How is the team feeling after the off-season?
The team seems like we're ready for the season opener in Australia. The data and time show that we are still a capable, competitive car. And after the results of last season, we are yearning for a championship battle again.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The situation between Norris and Russell last season, the team felt really hard for the incident with Antonelli. It must have been heartbreak when the team learned that Norris wasn't going to be driving for Red Bull after the season ended.
It was a very emotional finale to the season. Even being with Racing Bulls, I could see the emotions on the team's faces as the cars went into the pits. It was even harder on the team when we broke the news out that Konnersport signed Norris for this season. But we were able to still secure a strong lineup for the year.
Of course, the 2027 lineup for Red Bull, which everyone has been aching to find out.
Yeah, we have went ahead and kept Behrman on the team as he's developed quite well, and seeing the performance from last season, the team has decided to sign with Aiden Jackson. We know how much of an important key he was to Konnersport's championship. He's won races, knows how to drive a car to its limits, and the team hopes he can bring us to that top step of the podium at the end of the season.
Well, that is a very interesting and strong lineup for Red Bull in the 2027 season. Thank you for your time, Mekies, and welcome to Red Bull as we pass it back over to Alex Jakes, who's on the call with McLaren.
Alrighty then, thank you Ted, and thank you James for that hard work down the pit lane today. Last but not least, we have McLaren team principal on the line, Andrea Stella. How's the team been throughout testing, my friend?
We've been doing quite well. The data is where it needs to be, and we're putting up some good times today compared to the rest of the week.
I did want to ask, before we get to the final driver lineup before the season begins, the team had an okay start last season and dropped to the midfield, but it does seem online that McLaren is one of the fan favourites for the year. Any input on that, my friend?
The fans are always going to be there no matter where their team is down the order. We've been working as best as we can during the off-season to bring our performance to the grid, and the team is looking forward to lights out in Australia.
All right, my friend, let us know how your drivers feel about this upcoming season with their new car.
With the EC new car, new branding, and seeming to be better performance from last season, both Gasly and Sainz have been able to make adjustments accordingly compared to the previous year's car. And they feel ready to put the car back within the top 3.
All right then, my friend, we thank you for your time, and everyone from the F1 TV broadcast team thanks every one of the teams for being able to take that little bit of time to share what's going behind the scenes on the final day of pre-season testing for the 2027 season. My name is Alex Jakes as we shift gears towards Australia for the 2027 season opener. See you then.